Hey guys, we are just going to do a few examples here, quick refresh your brain on factoring. This is something you guys got really good at before we left for break, and I just want to make sure that we go over just a few examples here to refresh to make sure that we are all on the same page here. Plus, we are going to write our answers a little bit different than what we're used to. So let's go ahead and look at these two examples. Make sure you pause the video, take some time to write them down. All right, let's go ahead and look at this first one. So we are looking at here, remember there's a few things we always want to double check. And the first was, do we have a greatest common factor, or is our equation set equal to 0? For these problems, you're never going to have to worry about getting them set equal to 0. So we can go ahead and just skip that step. And then also for these examples we're doing in these videos, you're never going to have a GCF. So we can jump right ahead into our T-chart. Okay, and remember in our T-chart, we have our multiplying to get A times our C value, adding to get our B value, okay? And we always are gonna have our A, B, C's come from AX squared plus BX plus C. So A is with my X term, so 1 times C, so I'm multiplying to get negative 36. And I'm adding to get my B term, which is with my X. I'm adding to get 5 here. So I want to think through what multiplies to get me negative 36 that will also add to get me 5. Now here's again where this multiplication chart might be helpful for you. Okay, so you want to focus on in this chart, where do you see 36? Okay, so I see 36 right here. So 6 times 6. Is that ever going to add to get me 5? Nope. Even if one of them is negative, that's not going to work. Let's go ahead, and I see 36 right here. 9 times 4. Well, there's some possibility there, right? There's a difference of 5 between these numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and play around with this a little bit. So 9 times 4 will get me 36. And now I have to make one of these negative so that I get a negative 36 here. So let's see, I want to add to get a positive number and multiply to get a negative. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change my 4 to be negative. So 9 times negative 4 will get me negative 36. And if I do 9 plus negative 4, yeah, it's like 9 minus 4. That does get me 5, so I'm good there. Okay, now here's where you guys are going to need to pay attention. A lot of you guys are just going to flip your answers and get x equals negative 9 and x equals 4. But that's not how we want to write our answers. Okay, we actually want to write them in, if you guys remember, what's called factored form. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to keep our signs the same, factored form. X plus 9 times x minus 4. And we are not going to go any further. That is our factored form. Okay, that's it for that one. All right, let's go ahead and look at this second one. So again, we're not going to have a GCF. We don't need to worry about getting it set equal to 0, so I can jump right into my T-chart. What multiplies to get me negative 8, and what adds to get me negative 2. So thinking through, all right, looking at 8, everywhere in my chart there's an 8. I want to look at which one of these options is then going to add to get me negative 2. So 8 times 1, that's not a very good option. 2 times 4, that one has some potential there. So 2 times 4 will get me negative 8. And then I want to play around with my signs. One of these needs to be negative so that I also now add to get a negative value. And I'm going to go ahead and make my 4 negative. So 2 times negative 4 will get me negative 8, and 2 plus negative 4 will get me negative 2. Now again, write your answers as factored form. So my answer would be x plus 2 and x minus 4. Notice my signs are the same as the ones that are in my chart. And that's my answer. All right, I have one more for you guys to try on your own, so go ahead, pause the video, copy this down, and then press play when you are ready to check your work. All right, go ahead, check your work here, guys. So we set up our t-chart, multiplying to get -40, adding to get -3. I use -8 and 5, which works. So my factors are x minus 8, x plus 5. All right, guys, that is a little refresher on factoring. So please go ahead and work through those practice problems, making sure you are submitting your answers in factored form. All right, have a good day, guys.